Hello, MMTLP warriors, the ones who have endured nearly 3 years of this hellish nightmare. I'm here to ignite your inner fire. You've got mountains of evidence, and it works. We've had it since 2023. We have shared discrepancies of FINRA's U3 halt, silence, gaslighted, ignored. We got congressional letters and Senate letters. But fears and objections blocked the one tactic that could force immediate successful accountability. A constitutional sit in at Ann Wagner's office. If you want gold, you have to go where the gold is. And Ann Wagner has the golden keys. And surprisingly, St. Louis has golden keys for us as well. Today, we're going to shatter those emotional barriers and other barriers and rewrite your limiting stories. We're going to be asking ourselves questions to get breakthroughs. By the end, you'll see this sit in as your reclaiming of power. Let's break free of this hellish nightmare. Now, who's with me? The MMTLP saga has dragged us along for 3 years. For some of us, it's an everyday grind. Posting on social media every day, doing emails and letters to the president or congresspeople. Some of us made phone calls daily, multiple times, others a few times a week. Every day we've been here in this hellish grind, day after day, day after day. So you need to acknowledge your pain. The U3 halt stole your investment. There's 65,000 of us. We're all here in limbo over 1,000 days. And now we have many cognitive biases because we have been cheated by the system. Our whole life we've been trained to believe in the system, to believe authority, to believe in rules and follow the rules. And that's why we're stuck, is because we're in a situation where authority is the rule breakers, where authority is the thieves. They hold all the keys, they've blocked all the doors, and they've got everything. They warehouse our complaints. The situation is they only have to listen to us and warehouse the complaints, and there's no action. And that is exactly what the constitutional rights redress is about. We are going to force enforcement because doing things their way with their battle tactics on their battlefield, they have an unfair advantage. We can't do nothing. But we flip the script on them, pull out our Constitution, and now they're on our battlefield. And now we have a fair battleground and battle tactics based on our constitutional rights. So our cognitive biases from all this failure over 3 years, we now have a large amount of learned helplessness. This is from repeated and ignored complaints. We have fatalism. The system is rigged. We have proof it's rigged. And that's what's so confusing. All of this is fueling more and more inaction. If you've noticed, our MMTLP community has drastically declined in the last 3 months. We're severely burned out. We're angry and short tempered. And we want to go back to a time where we believe in this system and rules, which is why we keep saying they must fix it. They must do this. They must do that, without fully realizing and looking at the facts. It is them, they that did the crime. You can't ask the con man to undo the crime. The worst thing in the world for a con man isn't to get caught, it's being forced to give back his money to the mark. You've got to realize the mentality we're up against. Our shareholders are expressing deep cynicism and the hope for magical fixes without effort, like some magical evidence is just going to pop up and all of a sudden arrests are going to happen. In the last 25 years, what evidence have we seen plastered all over social media and in the news? and there's no arrest or consequences. Yet all of a sudden, magically, we believe our evidence is going to be different? No, it's not. We've got to face reality and work with the reality we have. And the reality we have says we either rise up and take our power and our constitutional rights, or we don't. Tony Robbins teaches that pain in life is inevitable, but suffering is optional. We might view a constitutional rights redress as extremely painful, but it's only for a short term. Which is more important, short term pain or keeping this hell going on for years? And then there's the fact if SEC and FINRA deletes that data on 12/8, their immunity card no longer is at risk. They don't want to even get to that. They'll go to the court, they'll say the data is gone, and the court's going to dismiss the case. The immunity card doesn't even get pulled out. There's never a risk. That is why the time is now. This sit-in will invoke your First and Fifth Amendment rights. It's a peaceful redress that's historically effective. And many of you want to say you know what a constitutional right redress is. You don't. Because the last major successful one, it was in 1977. A lot of you weren't alive or paying attention to politics. Most of the ones I'm showing you that are successful start from the 30s all the way up to 1977. So how can you tell me that a constitutional redress doesn't work and is this, that, and the other when you've never witnessed or really researched the history of it? The only thing you know is Occupy Wall Street, which was not a constitutional movement. It was funded by the left wing to cause destruction, cynicism, confusion, and mass riots here and there. No, you do not know what you're talking about when you say, I know what a constitutional rights redress is. You need to study the ones I've showed you on the list. Stop coming up with false equivalences and acting like you know what you're talking about. I know you have normal objections and fears and practical barriers, and we're going to talk about how to crush them. Let's start with everyday objections, logical fears, and practical life. These are stories we tell ourselves, but change the story and we will change our outcome. Fear of legal consequences. Arrest could ruin my life. This hits security needs very hard. What evidence shows that peaceful sit ins lead to harm? There's very little. Plus, you need to realize MMTLP is not a social issue. So we're not expecting Antifa or left wing groups to show up. So where is the violence going to come from? Unless it comes from within. And we already know we're not violent people. Now you might say, what about infiltrators? I got that covered. So let's not worry about that. How can we overcome this fear? Well, we'll have basic legal prep. Number one. Number two, all of our demands and our evidence shows that we are square on the First and Fifth and 14th Amendment. Any arrest would be for trespassing. That charge would be dropped before court because all of our evidence is so strong on the First and Fifth and 14th Amendment, it's not going to make it through court. So there's no fear of arrest. What about doubts of effectiveness? After all, nothing has really worked for us for 1,000 days, except for Don Fizz and the MMTLP walking the halls of Congress, which is why we know that works. It's some type of unwritten rule. They have to listen to us when we go in person. But non-violent campaigns, even the ones that were disorganized or had complicated demands or a lot of demands, had overall 53% success versus 28% for nonviolent. Our demands are super simple and highly focused, which means we are going to be in the 80% plus success range. The more we can work media, especially TV and radio, will increase our odds. But we can't work the media until we're there on site with our redress. If you look at the Chenoweth data, there's this 3.5% rule. This is a threshold that is derived from the data. No nonviolent campaign in the data set, and this isn't just the United States, this is across the world where they do not have constitutional rights and we're under authoritarian and regime rules. Once they got 3.5% sustained participation from the population, every such campaign either forced accommodations, which is success, from the regime or led to the regime's disintegration. Many succeeded with far fewer participation than 3.5%, but the study showed once you reach 3.5% representation, that is a tipping point. Now, let me ask you this. How many individuals in America were in the GME AMC meme stock craze? Now look at their direct family members. That alone is well over 3.5% of the population. This means about 11 to 12 million people in the United States is approximately 3.5% of the population. That is our focus once we get on TV and on radio to get them actively outraged. That is the public pressure tipping point. That is within our reach. We just got to get retail involved. Don't you see that? Once we get the meme stock retail involved in our situation, it's basically over. If you remember, the meme stock craze was all over the place on social media. The force was there. They just weren't focused. And they did not do a constitutional right redress. Had they done it back in 2020 and 2021, that would have been a shoe-in. What about financial barriers? This is an interesting one. A lot of us are going to say we can't afford to travel. Well, maybe we can look into crowdfunding. But the big issue is, why can't you afford to travel? Maybe is it because the government stole your money? The fact that you can't afford to travel is the very reason why you must go and get your story out. These people took your money. That's why you can't afford to go, and that's why you absolutely have to go, because you're not going to let the thief keep you from addressing your First and Fifth Amendment rights. It's kind of like if the thief takes your money, they win instantly. Is that what you're going to say? I understand we all have family, so this is a tough one. This is something you're going to have to think about. But short term pain and problems versus long term success. We're talking life changing money here. And the fact is, we're already made it. We all know the E Trade position close only and what they closed at. The money's already ours, it's there. So the long term effects of this with success, we already know the value. So it really comes down to the pain and discomfort. Is it worth the long term value you know that is there? We just got to claim it. Health and safety. This really shouldn't be an issue for us unless you have major medical issues, and probably that'd be something to think about. It would be great for you to be there for PR reasons. Outside of that, we're not expecting violence. We're not violent people. And because this isn't a social issue, we're not expecting Antifa or left wing groups to come in and rough us up. So this should not be an issue. It's a non issue. We're not expecting eternal division. The people who are totally against this won't be there. So everybody that's there will be one team, one laser focus at dismantling FINRA and the SEC with our four demands. We will demand Trump immediately fire all SEC and FINRA employees for criminal negligence for refusing to settle MMTLP, causing suicides and financial ruin. We are demanding immediate T2 settlement scheduling. We're demanding share count, which includes a full audited share count, blue sheets, trade data, and CAT data. In order to be successful, we're going to accomplish this like we did everything else over the last 3 years. Our leaders will have to come back. We will have to be of one mind. We will not be of lack of organization. This movement depends on being well organized and planning. And the more organized and planning we have, the faster we are going to get results. Our goal is to get results within hours, not a week, not several days. It might be several days, but our goal is to work this so that we will have this done in hours. Remember, we only need to get 3.5% of the population actively involved in our situation. If we just motivate the retail meme stocks behind us in this movement, we are done within hours. We are not expecting media backlash, but let's be serious. Let's not kid ourselves. Many of us watched Jim Cramer's comments on MMTLP that he made on CNBC. In that segment, he referred to investors who lost money in the stock after FINRA halted our trading and criticized us. He said, if you're going to be stupid enough to buy MMTLP, that was a short squeeze that went bad. They always blame the regulators. They never blame themselves. In spite of the fact we had evidence at that moment it was the regulators. So, will CNBC be trashing us? Maybe. We got to be ready for that because we are up against the system. And the system owns CNBC. And the system controls Fox. But if we're successful from the beginning in our planning, Charles Payne, at a minimum, should give us some live TV time. All we need is within us now, but we've got to be focused and we got to be prepared for what's in front of us. Chenoweth's data shows us that highly successful constitutional sit-ins that are highly focused with simple demands have a 70 to 80% success rate. But with us, we've got everything on her list checked off. And the public isn't against us. Some of these sit-ins had 78% of the population against them. We're not going to face that at all. 78% of the population are going to be immediately for us once they understand the situations. We have everything down. We are going to be 100% successful if we just organize and plan this correctly and are willing to face the criminals head on. Now let's change focus. The deep emotional traps, defeatism, fatalism, learned helplessness, and magical thinking. Now, the heart of the resistance is ourselves. We have met the enemy, and he is us. Emotional objections from defeatism, we're beaten. Fatalism, government doesn't care, which is right, which is why we must fight them. We're going to make them care. Learned helplessness, nothing matters. Yet we still gather evidence, but nothing matters. We're going to make it matter, and that's what this movement's about. And of course, magical thinking. Justice will happen without me doing anything. Life will somehow make it okay. These biases, confirmation biases, ignoring successes, loss aversion, fearing more pain, amplifying fears, as MMTLP X threads show, anger is at the halt. But passive waiting and passive tactics is just making us hurt and drag this pain out more. Victims often misdirect rage. They misdirect rage at presenters or new tactics or new ideas because sit-ins demand personal sacrifice. It demands personal time. It demands personal money and effort. When you feel entitled to rest after being wrong for 3 years and all of this, life should just fix it. And someone telling you that you must fight in person is making you angry, and that person is at fault. The reality is SEC, FINRA, Ann, Pete, Congress, that is the person who's at fault. And because they are doing you wrong, it means you have to go face them in person. This anger, it's really fury at the criminals. It's fury at FINRA. It's fury at the SEC. It's displaced on safe targets because FINRA and the SEC is not in front of you. It's also because you feel that FINRA, SEC, and Congress is so big that you can't direct your anger at them face to face. But we're going to do it peacefully. Recognize your anger. Reframe it as your power to drive you to success. I'm giving you the tools that will give us ultimate success. There's no way to lose in this. Even the worst case scenario means we have more evidence to prove the system is rigged and the government is against us. There's no way out of this without more evidence. But if we stay firm and focused, we're going to come out 100% successful. You've got to see everything is for us if we just stand up for our rights in person at Ann Wagner's office. Stay focused. Keep our demands simple, objectable, and highly and easily obtainable. Defeatism. It won't work. We've already been beaten. But we still collect evidence, don't we? Deep cynicism from failures like ignored FOIAs, ignored calls and letters to Congress, Pete, Ralph, Ann, Crapo, fear, reaffirming the lost. Psychological support, validate the pain. It's okay to feel defeated after this crime for 3 years and all the gaslighting we've been under. You are a victim, but you're not powerless. What if this belief is your only defeat? Overcome it. Pattern interrupt this. We can have 80% success just being focused with simple demands without the population. We are going to hit 100% success because 3.5% of the population is already on our side. We just got to put them on notice. We're there. Visualize the media shaming the regulators. Just visualize the media when we make our ultimate demand, first and foremost, that Trump immediately fire SEC and FINRA. That's our major shock value. And we got the evidence to prove they deserve being fired immediately. We got immediate success right off the bat because Trump, with fraud, waste, and abuse in the Doge, how can he reject our claims? How can he not act immediately? We're going to have success on a silver platter right away. Fatalism. Government doesn't care. It's rigged. We got evidence it's rigged. Belief in indifference. It doesn't matter if Congress and Senate and FINRA and the SEC is in indifference of us. The American population will not be. We know there's deep collusion, which is ironic because we still believe the government is going to fix it for us when we know they're the criminals. They're the ones who rigged the system. We need to reach the American population. The only way to do that is with a constitutional rights redress and get media, live media there. Fear of wasted effort and sacrifice? No. Once we get the media and our story out, retail will rally behind us. We will have retail rallying behind us before we even get started. We are going to have CEOs from other companies who are right now actively fighting against FINRA and the SEC for their very lives. They're going to jump at the chance to support us with all their weight and might. They are going to help market us. We've got success written all over us. We've just got to step up to the plate and get ready to bat. It's there. As victims, we shouldn't have to sacrifice more. I know this. You know this. Everybody knows this. But the system is rigged. The government is against us. And when the government is against us, the only thing you can do is fight and raise your voice and do it in person. If we stay at home and we stay online, we're hidden. And that's exactly where SEC, FINRA, Congress, Pete, Ann wants you. At home, hidden. No. Nay, I say, we will go and fight. Once we ally with other CEOs and get media on our side and retail, we are going to be an unstoppable force. And a lot of these alliances we are going to build before we even step foot in St. Louis. Success is on our side. We will have it. Learned helplessness. Nothing I do matters. The system is big and powerful, yes, but MMTLP is an army. We've already shown we're a force to be reckoned with. But now is the time we must regroup. Now is the time we must change our strategy and tactics. Now is the time we must force the system to fight on our battlefield under our terms. Because if we fight on their battlefield and their terms, they control all the systems. They warehouse our complaints. They warehouse our voice. They gaslight us and ignore us. But if we force them to fight on constitutional terms, on our battlefield and our tactics, they have no fight. They have to run. They have to evade. They have to confuse and obfuscate. We just need to say strong, public, in person, simple. Everything's in public. Everything's in public. All their words in public. We say simple on our demands, highly focused. We do not deviate. We will win this fight as long as we stay focused, in public, simple demands, and do not deviate from those demands. When has bold action worked for you in the past? Oftentimes, the very thing you don't want to do is the very thing you must do to win, and that's where we are now. This will win. Stay focused, simple demands, actionable, and they're available immediately. Magical thinking. Life, government will fix it without me. Or life and government will fix it, and I'm going to force them to fix it no matter what, somehow without doing active things or being active or proactive. Anger at the U3 halt, but hoping for saviors. We are the saviors. Next Bridge is treading for water and drowning. Next Bridge needs us. Next Bridge needs MMTLP Army to fight for its life. It's up to us. We are the saviors. The fear, efforts to comfort, we got to get over it. Misdirected anger at misdirected anger at this tactic and strategy of a constitutional rights redress is wrong. Your anger is focused at FINRA, SEC, and Pete, Congress, and the Senate. It's unfortunate that we must do this to fight for our rights, but if one thing has become true and should be full reality to you over the last 3 years, if we don't do this, we're going to keep getting what we're getting. And unfortunately, 12/8 of this December, they're going to erase the data. And that is game over. And they don't want to tell you this. They're going to keep it silent. They're going to deceive you and tell you anything and everything to stop you from stopping that date from happening. That is why we must do this now. That is why we got to do it November. And it just so happens that Thanksgiving is a boon for us for our stories to be out there, to move and drive the public. The very thing you usually don't want to do is the very thing you absolutely have to do to win. We can win this thing. I know it's hard. I know it's expensive. I know it's a push. But think about this. Some of you have 50 million on the line, 60 million, 200 million. Are you really going to let a fear of arrest for $200 million let you keep you at home? If someone would say to you right now, I will pay you $1 million to be arrested for trespassing, and the trespass charge has a 90% chance of being dropped before you get to court, many of you would take that in a heartbeat. How many of you, if you were to be paid $10 million, would drive to St. Louis right now? So why is the thinking different? Because you're already thinking of failure. You're not seeing success. You must view the success. Look at your constitutional rights. Look at your evidence. If our evidence got the letters in 2023, our evidence is good enough now. We have all we need to be successful. You've just got to feel it and see it and think about it correctly. This presentation has tackled basically every objection that should be out there, from practical to profound, with tools to overcome it. I don't know what else to say. For 3 years, we've been here. For 3 years, you know what government and Congress has done to us. Yet some of you act like, oh, they'll help us out. We can beg and plead government to fix it. The evidence is there. They're the ones who did it. You don't go to the con man and ask for your money back. No matter what proof you give him, the last thing he wants to do is give it back. He'd rather go to prison than to give you your money back. And that's the situation we're in. I don't know what else to tell you. Success is here now. Some of you, again, 50, 60, 200 million. I don't have that much involved. I'm lucky if I'm going to get 3 million, but I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. All I can tell you is we've got success 100% written over this all over the place. And no matter what happens, even if it's an abject, absolute failure, we still come out with more evidence, which is a success. There's no way to lose at this. I don't understand why you don't see some of this. And the reason is you're so angry that you don't want to do anything. And so you want to attack everything as a failure. But magically, some kind of evidence is going to magically get us enforcement. When it's the government that did it to us, the government is never going to settle this. You're going to have to fight, and you're going to have to fight in person. That's it, the end.